Hello everyone, welcome to The Zone. Today we're chatting about Manchester United. It's been a while, since we spoke. The last time I covered Manchester United was actually the time we got beat, or should I say destroyed, 3 months ago with 6 goals. A lot's changed in 3 months, and I haven't really covered anything in that period of time. I've been a bit busy, been doing other things. And it feels right to come back to this glorious victory from Manchester United. And very, very good. Originally on my channel, I said a couple of things. I said, I'm not going to, fall out or go against Ten Hag or anything like that. It's entirely his decision of who to kick out and who to back and who to play and all of this stuff. And I also said that we're not really going to win anything until major changes happen with the Glazers and other things. Guess what's happened? The Glazers look to be leaving, which is fantastic news. On top of that, we have Harry Maguire has been benched, and this isn't about Harry Maguire, but it's about mentality and stuff like that. So we've got rid of Harry Maguire, we've got rid of McFred, and we're now playing Casemiro and Eriksen with Fred and Scott McTominay coming on as like decent backups, which is what we want. We've got a right winger that works hard. We've got rid of playing Elanga. We now have Rashford in good form. And if we need something different, we have Garnacho coming on, who's a brilliant kid. So direct. We'll talk about him in a second. But overall, the whole mentality of the club has changed. And that's down to one man, and that's Ten Hag. The reason there's been a mentality change is he has standards. It's very simple. Come into training late, you do the wrong thing, you're benched, you're not playing. You have full focus on football. And these things aren't groundbreaking, but none of the managers we've had since Fergie retired have done any of these things. For the longest time, we've all sat here and we've all said, oh, you know, it's clear we need a defensive midfielder. It's clear these centre-backs aren't good enough. What's he done? He's got Casemiro, a world-class player, absolutely world-class. Probably the highest level of midfield play I've seen since Michael Carrick that played for Man U. That was probably like the last top player playing for Man United in that midfield role, really. He is so smart with the fouls he makes. He does those fouls where he tackles you and then falls over, so it looks like he's fallen, but it's actually a foul, but it's not. He breaks up play, he gets his leg in there. He does these ridiculous first-time passes. He's got a cracking shot on him. Such a superb player, and it's made such a difference. Fred then can come on with energy, or we can have a two-man midfield with him and Eriksen, and then Fred, like today, can man-mark De Bruyne and force De Bruyne out wide. De Bruyne was smart today. He went out wide and Fred had to follow him, which made space in the middle, but that's great. De Bruyne has been forced out wide, which is obviously not ideally where he wants to be. Look, he's still good enough to create chances, like today he did the cross that set up the goal. But the thing is, we have options now, and that's come down to him not letting standards slip. Harry Maguire is not a bad centre-back to come on and clear the ball out and be semi-decent. He's not tragic. But Varane, Martinez and Luke Shaw in that centre-back role are much better options. Luke Shaw, I'm not his biggest fan as a full-back. I think he has periods where he's immense, and then he has periods where he's not so good. And I think that left centre-back role, he doesn't have to worry about bombing up and down and then getting back. He can just focus on his position, his first touch, which he's very good at. And just the match I thought was so different. The vibe was so different. It was 0-0, right? And I wasn't frustrated, like, why are we not creating anything? It wasn't anything like that. It was like, I was talking to my dad whilst we were watching the game, and I was just saying, like, even if we draw this game or go on to lose, it won't frustrate me, because you can see the instructions for today's game were very different to the previous game, and that shows that, one, the manager's thinking. He's not just counter-attacking, inshallah, you know. He's thinking. Number two, the players are listening, and, you know, everyone's involved in it. And that's a huge thing. Like, Bruno's out of position, Rashford's slightly out of position, people are having to do different things, but they're doing it and they're sticking to the game plan. And if you keep doing that, chances are it might just work. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Ten Hag is going to carry us to titles, he's going to carry us to Champions Leagues and all of that stuff, but it's very clear. I think we can now say, like we've always said, if you get a manager in who has a proper style of play and he has a drive to keep going at that style of play. When he got beat 4-0, he didn't give up. He went and got the players he needed to play his system. He was brave. He's still been attacking. And I think any Man United fan, forget what people say on TalkSport and all of those crap that don't really watch the games. If you actually watch the games, the way we bring the ball out from the back is not like we used to. There have been managers where we've brought the ball out from the back and we get into defence and we get it into midfield and it's all right. But then there's like no penetration. We don't actually know what we're doing. So different. When Man United get on the ball, people are looking, thinking about, is that the correct pass? Is that going to be wasteful? Should I check back? Should I, like Garnacho coming on? The patience, the poise, and just the ability of calmness of that lad. He span that defender, and the defender was like, oh, he's spanned. Then the cross went in, and then Rashford scored the winner. If we want to talk about the offside goal, personally, if I'm being completely honest, if I was designing football rules, I would say he's offside. Because clearly Akanji and those centre-backs and the goalies are seeing Rashford through on goal, and people are having to make decisions. Edison's having to fly out. Defenders are having to cover certain things. I know he's not touched the ball, but he's probably offside in my eyes. Similarly, Man City had a goal, just like Liverpool, where their attacker is stood way offside, but because a Wolves player flicked the ball on, Mo Salah is suddenly allowed to be offside in the penalty area and score a tap-in. The rule is a bit silly because we all know that whether they touch the ball or not, they're technically interfering with how somebody would defend. But the rules are the rules. You can blame the rules, but he actually was not offside. So he wasn't offside because that's the way the rules are. So the goal should have stood, and it did. And I just think it was so different than, and I think Man United fans that watch the game regularly will agree with me. The strength of the team, meaning like the blocks and the way the players move, they're all doing it correctly. They're not flying about going, oh, why is there so much space here? Then we're doing a counter attack. Then we're scrambling, clearing balls off the line. It was very set up. It was very, not compact, but it was very structured, shall we say. And the players knew what they were doing, and it was just great to see. Overall, I've been really enjoying watching Man United develop over the past 3 months, because it's been about 3 months since I did a video. Ronaldo has gone, and I think Ronaldo needed to go. In a strange way, and don't quote me on this because I know it's not technically true, but if I was to draw a bad parallel, it's a bit like Ronaldo and Haaland. Man City are getting all of the goals to Haaland. Haaland's scoring all of their goals, right? Pretty much. Ronaldo last season was scoring all of their goals. So how can they be the problem? Well, the problem is when your system is gearing up for that one specific player, that things change, and it wasn't working at United the way we were playing. It needed to change. Haaland, for example, I think they are much better when they're doing all of their interchanges of passing and they're not too preoccupied by where Haaland is. I think in the very first few months of Haaland arriving at City, it was more like they're just doing their passing and Haaland's trying to get on the end of it. And because he has that striker instinct, he was raking them in. Now I think they're looking for him maybe a little bit too much, but I don't follow City that closely at all. But that's how it looks on the outside, and that's how I think about Ronaldo. Obviously Ronaldo is in a much worse state. He's 38, he's finished, but he needed to go, and I think that was a huge thing for Ten Hag. It gave him that authority of, listen, nobody's bigger. I'm going to bench Maguire, and then I'm going to actually make him third choice, fourth choice. I'm going to get rid of Ronaldo. I just think he's running the club properly, and I tell a lie, or should I say, I tell a truth. I've been enjoying Man U that much. I treated myself to a bit of merch, so Glazers can have 10 quid off me. 10 quid and 5 quid. They can have about 15 quid off me before hopefully they piss off. But I was actually enjoying Man U, and I was enjoying the structure and everything. I was like, I need a new key. I need a new hat. Let's go for it. But I've just been enjoying watching the team develop. I'm not naive. We will lose games. There will be games where our defence messes up the playing out from the back, where we're not creative enough, where we can't find that ball, where we look a bit hopeless, because it's a process, right? But he's clearly very good at doing the process that he's set out, and so far it's working. Martial, bro, Martial is just weak. He's not putting his body out there. He's poor. It's poor from him. He needs to do more, and he was rightly hooked. He would rather keep an injured Rashford on than a fit Martial, because he's not doing it. And Garnacho that came on, the difference there, man, light years difference. Rashford had to get put up front, which he's not great at, and he'll admit that. He's so much better on the left. But Garnacho made the difference, and together we janked it around, and we came through with the points. If we can get a striker in, we've got Weghorst in now, that offers us something different, it could get even better. But I don't expect us to go and win the title and win every game 5-0 and fight back and be brilliant, because Marcus Rashford's form will drop at some point. Everyone's does, and we need people to pick up the slack, and I don't know why the rest of the goals are. You've got to remember, Christian Eriksen wasn't meant to be playing every single minute for Man United. It was meant to be like Frankie de Jong or someone else with him. He's still making do with, like, let's put Rashford up front, let's shift Bruno out wide, let's do this and that. I think he's gone under the radar, Anthony on the right wing, but he's defensively very solid, and he works hard, and he attracts people towards him, which creates space. And I think Martinez has been a brilliant signing. Varane was very good today. Casemiro, probably our best signing, just behind Martinez, arguably. Martinez just behind him, arguably. But overall, very, very positive. I don't think we'll win the league. I think it's a strange one. I think Arsenal will win the league, because Man City in his post-match today said, "Oh, we can't win the league; it's over." And whether he means that or not, it's a bit weird to say. Have they given up the ghost? It's very hard to win 3 titles in a row. Only Man United have done that before. So obviously I'd like Man City to not get that record, but it's neither here nor there. I focus on Man U. We're improving, and let's see what the future holds.